Hello, BookTube. I have a little mail for you here, snatched from the downpours outside, and it ends in a box, but it's not a patch on the box that ended yesterday's mail, so what difference does it make? It's a tiny little box, probably a slim volume of poetry. But we'll see. You never know. Might be something squeal-worthy in here. Let's see. This first one is... okay. All right, great. Fantastic. This is from Norton by Benjamin Baylant, and it's called Kafka's Last Trial, the Case of a Literary Legacy. This is all about Kafka's literary legacy, one of the most interesting stories of literary legacies. When Kafka died from tuberculosis at the age of 40 in 1924, he left one last instruction to his close friend and confidant, Max Brod, which was, of course, to burn his literary legacy. A certain kind of writer does that. There have been hundreds who have. None of them meant it. But instead of destroying Kafka's manuscripts, Brod devoted the rest of his life to canonizing Kafka as the most prescient writer of the 20th century. And in this book, the author tells the tale of the fate of Kafka's works, from Max Brod's harrowing escape to Palestine with the manuscript as Nazi invaders closed in on Czechoslovakia in 1939, to a gripping account of the contentious international legal battle over the ownership of Kafka's works, which reached its climax in Israel's High Court in 2016, and which had to be maddening. It was certainly maddening to me, thinking that this treasure trove of stuff from a venerated and important author was just being sat on. So, and this tells that story. I know quite a few details of that story, but I'm sure that I don't know it all. And this is a book about that subject, so fantastic, very good. So this comes out in late September. So that's a good start. What else we got here? All the rest are cardboard. No more manila, but who knows what? Oh, okay. Oh, this is lovely. Good Lord. Okay, this is from Other Press. This is the finished copy due in September of Evan Fallenberg's The Parting Gift. You can't really make this out, but this is textured. It's raised. Very nice. That is what the book looks like. It's organized horizontally, and that there is the original script. It's organized horizontally instead of vertically. Very nice. You don't often see cover designs that are like this. And this has a long and fawning blurb from Andre Assman, the author of Call Me By Your Name. Let's see here. What have we got here? I think we saw this before. I don't know if I can do that. This catches in the light. Israeli writer Evan Fallenberg, a National Jewish Book Award winning translator and author of the critically acclaimed novels Light Fell and When We Danced on Water, explores the destructive powers of lust and jealousy in this book. Written with intense lyrical prose, The Parting Gift is an erotic and shrewd tale that challenges the very definition of masculinity, exploring the various roles that men take upon themselves in today's society, as lovers, as fathers, as sons, and even as Israelis or Palestinians. After crashing with an old friend for several months, the unnamed narrator of The Parting Gift is finally ready to move on, and to explain the bizarre circumstances that led him from the Israeli coast to a couch in a small American town. The narrator met the talented spice merchant Uzi when his companions stopped at Uzi's coastal farm, eager to try the famous wares. He felt such an instant animalistic attraction that he immediately abandoned his friends and his possessions, and the two began a passionate, all-consuming romance. The narrator quickly enmeshed himself in Uzi's life, trying to improve his business and help his troubled children. At first, everything goes wonderfully, but as the business grows and the narrator spends more time with Uzi's family, his overwhelming affection starts to turn to bitter jealousy, leading to an obsession that will threaten not only his relationship, but the livelihoods of everyone around him. And the author has won a ton of prizes. Evan Fallenberg has won a ton of prizes. Look at that, even the back, even the blurbs are horizontal. How nice. He's still young, good Lord. And this, The Parting Gift, credits no translator. So was this written in English? Yeah, it looks like it was. Looks like this was written in English. Okay. Fantastic. All right, so this is a September book. The Parting Gift. A dark Israeli love story. A gay love story. Fascinating. It's not the light here isn't really doing this justice. There's just no way for me to really do it justice. It's a lovely thing though. It's going to stand out on any table at a bookstore. Great. Okay. Let's move on here. One of the best gay novels that I've read so far in 2018 was also of an exotic nature, not an ordinary American gay novel. The Diamond Setter, which was very, very good. So, oh, okay, oh, great. All right, we saw this before. This is a translation. This comes out in August, I think, or very soon. Yeah, this is out already, I think. This is Ball Lightning. We already saw a copy. Now I have a second copy. The second finished copy of this thing. From the lauded Chinese science fiction author. Great. All right. And then let's see what this next one is. That was just a shipping snafu. That's all. There are 2 copies instead of 1. Oh. Okay. This comes out in the end of August. It's a subject I know well, but I'm always willing to read another book on it. This is by Catherine Arnold, and it is Pandemic 1918. Eyewitness accounts from the greatest medical holocaust in modern history. Imagine a global epidemic that strikes down homes and records more casualties than world wars. Now imagine governments hiding news about this deadly virus. This was the reality 100 years ago during the 1918 Spanish flu outbreak. Long before AIDS and Ebola, this was the virus that sparked terror across the globe. The author narrates the history of the pandemic that killed more than 50 million people worldwide. Around the world, it was known as the Spanish flu. It wasn't until recently, when exhumed corpses containing fragile surviving DNA of the virus were unearthed, that scientists truly understood the scope of the disease and how to prevent future outbreaks. As World War I raged on, entire battalions were decimated, with both Allies and Germans suffering massive casualties, while civilians and families battled the virus back in their own homes. No one was safe. In Britain, 250,000 people died. In the United States, it was 750,000, 5 times the total military fatalities in the war itself, while European deaths reached over 2 million. The city of Philadelphia reached a point where they ran out of gravediggers and coffins. Publishing during the centennial of this devastating epidemic, Pandemic 1918 uses previously unpublished records, memoirs, diaries, and government publications to uncover the human story of 1918. And I had an advanced copy of this and started it, but then I got distracted by something pretty and shiny. I like the job that was done. I've read many books on the subject. I reviewed many books on the subject, but I liked what I read. So now I've got the finished copy, and I think in the back of my mind I was thinking, even when I abandoned it, I was thinking, just wait and you'll get a second swing at the ball. You'll get a finished copy. So now I do. And then this last one, this tiny little box. I'm sure it's hard to find a place. Let's see what this is. Okay. This is from the University of Nebraska Press. Comes out on September 1st. I didn't request it. It's by Diane Anderson, and it's called Problematic: How Toxic Call-Out Culture is Destroying Feminism. From Beyonce's Lemonade to The Force Awakens to the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot, the entertainment industry seems to be embracing the power of women like never before. But with more feminist content comes more feminist criticism, and it feels as if there's always something to complain about. Diane Anderson's incisive Problematic takes on the stereotype of the perpetually dissatisfied feminist. Too often, feminist criticism has come to mean seeing only the bad elements of women-centric pop culture and never the good. Anderson suggests that our insistence on feminist ideology purity leads to shallow criticism and ultimately hurts the movement. she could literally have her house firebombed and razed to the ground, and then the ground salted for saying such a thing in some places in this country. So that's pretty daring. Instead, she proposes new, more nuanced forms of feminist thought for today's culture, illustrated by examples from across the spectrum of popular music, movies, and TV, including Lena Dunham, Nicki Minaj, and even One Direction. While grounding her inquiry in pop culture media and topics, she draws on concepts of feminist theory to show how we can push for continued cultural change while still acknowledging the important feminist work being done in pop culture today. Good luck. Good luck with that. Nuanced. Good luck with that. That's okay. So who is this utterly doomed author when she's at home? She's a freelance journalist, author, and activist in women's issues, and a regular contributor to a bunch of big magazines. Okay. Well, that's, how did it go? What was the phrase? Takes on the stereotype of the perpetually dissatisfied feminist. Okay. To put it mildly, such a face of the third wave feminist movement is noticeable. It's not a figment of anybody's imagination. It's very noticeable. I don't think I'll be reviewing this book. I might review it in private, but I don't think I'll be reviewing it in public. That's how toxic this conversation, if you want to call it that, has become. It's not possible even to have the conversation. It's not possible even to have the debate without having your house burned down and then the ground raised and salted. And even that not good enough. Well, and really, I don't think he should ever work again. And really, well, you say that means he'll starve and all of his dependents will starve. Well, I think they really should starve. Well, you think you say there's a chance that somebody from far away, a distant relative or a well-wisher, will come in and give them a little bit of food every month, so they'll still be starving, but they won't starve to death. Well, I think we should turn the mob on that person, the one who's giving them the little morsel of food. That person really should be hunted down, dispossessed, impoverished, have their house burned down and the ground salted. And then what do you say? That somebody very, very distant from them that wants to give them a morsel of food so they don't literally starve to death? Well, we should probably hunt that person down too. So I don't imagine many people reviewing this book. We shall see. If it's blazingly good, I won't be able to ignore it. It'll certainly be interesting to read. That furious noise you hear is a certain someone who's been cooped up all day because of rain, and who's taking it out on our packages. All right, well, there we go. So, wow, I did not expect that last one. So we have Pandemic, 1918, a perennially fascinating subject. We have Problematic, but feminist criticism of everything all the time, including other feminist critics, constantly, all the time, without any humor at all, none whatsoever. I saw a YouTube video just the other day. It wasn't a debate. It wasn't a formalized debate. It was just a call-in live stream discussion between three critics, one of whom described herself as a third-wave professional feminist critic, and she was the statue at Easter Island the whole time. Other people in the live stream told jokes that were funny and that were not sexist. They were just ordinary situational humor. No flicker of human emotion ever crossed her face. And I thought, okay, you're trying to win people over. I guess you're going to do it on pure logic alone, because you're certainly not going to do it in any other way. So I don't know who would review this. Well, we'll see. Then another copy of Ball Lightning, a second copy of Ball Lightning. I guess I should say, right, that if one of you really, really loves this author, and is dead set on getting the book. I think the book's out already. But if I don't do giveaways on this channel because I don't want people competing with each other. But let me know. I do have 2 copies of this book, and I only need the 1 copy. So I have an extra copy, and of course I'm all set up for mailing things to you people. So let me know, I guess. Then Kafka's Last Trial, about the fascinating, tortured, complicated story of Kafka's literary remains. What his literary estate, in the years after his death. It's an incredibly interesting story. So, and I'm always up for a new Kafka book. And The Parting Gift by Evan Fallenberg, in a lovely finished copy of a gay love story. That I confess, I'm kind of immediately fascinated to read all of these. Usually in any mail haul, there's one or two books that I'm more interested to read than any others. Aside from Ball of Lightning, which I've already read, but the other four, I'm kind of interested to dive into them right away, and they all have publication dates that make that justifiable. So maybe we're looking at my night's reading. That could easily be true. That could easily be true. All right, so that's it. The only thing left is your obligatory look at the little Fraulein. There she is. Hey, there's the baby. Oh, she's eating cardboard. Oh. It looked to me like the rain has mostly stopped, at least for now. I think it'll probably pick up again when the sun sets, so we're going to go outside and try and burn off a little energy. It'll only be a little energy because it's wet outside. She doesn't like even getting her little tootsies wet, much less having rain actually falling on her, but we'll do what we can. But I'll wrap this up, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.